and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In these tutorials, we'll be learning how to buffer a point and also how to write a script to determine features around the buffered zone. Buffer analysis is very essential in spatial analysis, so we are going to learn how to do that in PyQGIS. So for those of you who don't know what buffering is, buffering in GIS involves creating an area around a given point. It could be, that point could be a vector or it could be in the raster layer. So we do that in order to identify features within the proximity of the buffered feature or the buffered layer. Since buffer represents a specific radius or width around the feature, it is typically measured in map units. The unit depends on the CRS, which is the coordinate reference system of your layer. There are roughly two coordinate reference systems. We have the geographical and the projected. So usually we'll be doing, in this video, we will be doing our calculations in the projected coordinate system, meaning that our buffered distance is going to be in the unit of either feet, meters, or kilometers. So buffering in spatial analysis mainly helps us answer the question of what features are within a certain distance of a given point, line, polygon, or end or raster cell. In this video, we will be looking at how to create a buffer around a point vector layer. So with that out of the way, let's start coding. So just as we always do when we are creating a new PyQGIS project, we will begin by loading our PyQGIS boilerplate. Again, we already have a video on how to go about creating your PyQGIS buffer boilerplate in VS Code, so you can check the video out. So we'll begin by typing PyQGIS. So in this particular tutorials, we will be looking at three new classes that we haven't looked at. Most of the videos that we've been doing so far, we've been working with QGIS vector layer. We've done extensive videos on QGIS vector layer and how to use it. So I would assume that most of you have a decent understanding of that particular class. If you don't, you can go through our video where we described the boilerplate code and other videos about loading vector layers in PyQGIS. In all those videos, we explained what the QGIS vector layer class does. But in this particular video, the three other features that we'll be looking at will be QGIS geometry, QGIS points XY, and QGIS feature request. So these will be the three new classes that we'll be looking at. I'll be explaining each and every class so we have a decent understanding of what they are and what they do. So we'll begin by explaining the QGIS geometry class. The QGIS geometry class is a class that represents or holds geometric shapes. So geometric shapes in GIS are points, lines, features, etc. This class provides methods, so you can think of methods like it provides functionality that allows us to work with and manipulate geometries. So such functionalities are our checking for intersection. They allow us to calculate distance between 2 points. They also allow us to create buffer on points on geometry features. So spatial calculation and operation in QGIS geometry are performed in partition mathematics. So when you are using this particular class in PyQGIS, the assumption is always that your layer is always in a projected coordinate system. What we mean by projected coordinate system is that we are assuming that the earth is flat. So most of our units are going to be in the meters, in feet, in kilometers, etc. So that is it for the QGIS geometry. The next one is the QGIS point XY. So this one is very simple. It just allows us to create or hold a strictly two-dimensional position with XY coordinates. So that does it for the QGIS point XY. And then the last but not the least, is the QGIS feature requests. This class is used to create specific criteria to filter or fake features within our layer. So I think that is a brief summary of what these three classes do. So instead of seeing me typing all this, I've pasted the initial code. So what this code does, if you haven't been following our tutorial so far, is that we have created a variable that holds the path to the shapefile that we'll be using for this tutorial. We've used our QGIS vector layer to create the QGIS vector layer, obviously, with the name of the vector layer and then the provider that tells PyQGIS to actually read the shapefile. Right, so then we have a statement, an if statement, that's whether our layer is valid or not. So one thing that we'll be doing is we need to know the CRS, that's the coordinate reference system of our layer before we start. So if our layer is not in the appropriate coordinate system, we can then change it. But for me, the shapefile I'm using is already in a projected coordinate system. If you don't know how to use PyQGIS to convert your shapefile into a particular coordinate system, we'll have a video on it in the future. You can use QGIS to do that. So what we are going to do is that we are first going to call the .crs method, then we're going to print it. The SPSG 32360 is a spatial reference ID for QGIS 84 UTM zone 30M, which is a projected coordinate reference system with new units in meters. So the first thing that we'll be doing, we'll be creating our point layer. So we want to create a point layer that we will be creating a buffer around. So as you can see, we've created a point vector of x coordinates of an arbitrary point and then y of an arbitrary point within our projected coordinate system boundary. So the next thing we'll be doing is we will be creating a reference point, converting our point vector into a geometric QGIS geometric point vector so that we can perform the buffer and all that other functionality we talked about that QGIS geometry has to offer. So as I said before, this particular line of code creates a QGIS geometry from our point XY vector class. Okay, and also before I forget, I'll be making this code available and all the code for all the tutorials that we've done so far available on my GitHub account. I'll create a new GitHub account and put all the codes there so that if any of you want to go in and see the source code for what we've done so far, it will be easily accessible for you all. So right now we've created a new reference, a new variable called reference system. We've converted our points into a QGIS geometry to be able to create a buffer around this point, our reference points. So the next we'll be looking at this line of code. We've created a variable called the buffer distance. We've given an arbitrary distance meters. So we are creating a buffer with the distance that we have created. We're creating a bounding box around our buffer zone. So this next line, we'll now be using our QGIS request class. So the QGIS request class allows us to input a filter requirement that will allow us to then filter particular features within our vector layer. Because in our district capitals vector layer, we have about 110 districts in our district capital vector layer. So if you want to filter particular districts, given a particular rule, the QGIS filter request allows us to do that. So here we set a spatial filter based on a rectangle. So our rectangle here is our bounding box around the buffer rectangle vector that we created. Given the rectangle provided, the rectangle coordinates provided, it should filter us only features within that rectangle. That's what this particular line of code is referring to. So what this particular function does is, from our layer, we are accessing the get features method, and then we are saying that get a feature based on this particular filter criteria, right? So in order to showcase the number of values that we are getting, let me copy this, paste it here, in order for you to understand what we are talking about. Paste it here. So we are saying here is get features, and we are getting features based on nothing, right? So we are going to print the length or the size of each feature list. So we have len 1, which will be just features, right? Then we have another length, which will be get features. So let's print it and see what we get. So as we can see, with our filter, with our features, which we didn't give any filter criteria, the length of the features were 110, right? But for the get features, which we inputted the filter criteria, our results are 107. So we get far fewer features here compared to this. So if we go back to our buffer distance, right, and then we reduce the buffer distance, and then we are going to get fewer features returned. So what I've done is that I have reduced the buffer distance significantly to 7,000. And when we run the code, we realize that out of 110 features, 82 were returned. We want the names of the features within our created buffer zone. And in order to do that, we are going to need to look through our get features, which is a list of all the features that we got given our filter criteria. With our particular shapefile, I have a column with the name district, and it also has an ID, a feature ID. So we are getting the ID, and then we are getting the name of that particular district, because I know there's a column in our vector layer with that district name. If you don't trust me, we have you can see this. You can see that this is our vector layer shapefile in QGIS, and it has, these are the list of columns it has, and it has a particular column or district, which is the name of that particular district. Okay, so with that, we're going to then print the buffer distance and then print the selected feature, and then we'll get the names of all the features within our selected features. So this marks the end of this video. Thank you for watching to the end of these tutorials. I hope it was helpful. If you need any assistance, even if it's not related to this particular topic, you can please write it in the comment section below. I'll do my best to help you. And if I cannot help you, I'm pretty sure there are others who can assist you. Thank you again for watching. I look forward to seeing you again in the next video. Bye. Stay curious and keep learning.